Good morning, students. Let's standard 1.2. Chapter name is Deep Whittington and his cat. Firstly, I will learn about the warming up and I will take a warming up and then I start this lesson. Discuss the following groups and writes answers. Name of the world famous personalities who reached the great highest fame, humble circumstance. That is here given four pictures here and then write the mention name of these four personality. Guess the type of hardship they must have faced in their childhood and youth. That means guess type of hardship they must have faced in their childhood and youth. This question write in your notebook. What strong qualities passes by them could have helped them achieve success and fame all over. Research a discussion and write in your notebook. How do stories, biographies of such famous people help us youngsters? Give the name of this stories in your own basis. Hmm? Here given the syllables unit pronunciation has the one vowel sound and may not have a consonant sound before or after it. Then our chapter name is D. Whittington and his cat. I firstly read this uh, page number 6. Hmm? Page number 6 and 7 and then I explain this story. There was once once a poor boy called Dick Whittington who lived in a small village in the South England. He had no proper home, for both his parents had died and he was unkindly treated by many of villagers. One day, Dick overheard someone say that the streets of London were paved with gold, and he decided that he would go to there at once pick his fortune in gold pieces from the street. For the thought, thought people might treat him more kindly if he were rich. So young Dick set out the walk to London. He had not gone far when a man in a cart stopped and asked him if he was running away from home. I have no home, Dick answered. I am on my way to London to find my fortune. I am going to London myself, said the carter. Jump up here beside me and we will journey together. Then they arrived in the London just before night falls and the carter left Dick and made his way to an inn. Poor Dick stood alone and looked around him, dismissed. Where was all the fine gold, all the good severe, dirty street and lots of unfriendly people? He had nowhere to sleep and in the end of the spent the night in the corner of alley where he hoped he would come to no harm. The next morning Dick woke up cold, miserable, and very hungry. He wandered around begging for the food, but again and again people shouted at him, "Go away, you are lazy fellow! Be off with you!" and aimed angry blows at his head. At the last, the collapsed in the street and lay there, too weak to look further to food. By chance, Dick had fallen in the front of house belonging to Ru- rich merchant called Mr. Frizz, Frizz, Frizzvarens. The cook was trying to drive away when Mr. Frizzvaren returned home and inspecting his sheep, he stopped and said to Dick, "Why don't you work if you need for food?" "I would work," said Dick, "but I nobody who will give me anything to do." "Take him into the kitchen," my Frizzvaren ordered the cook. "Feed him first and then find some work for him." So Dick was given a home and living. He had a small corner of the attic to sleep in, and job was helped the cook with all the pots and pans in the kitchen. Dick's life should have been much better than before, but he still had two difficulties to face. Uh, Dick Whittington and his cat. This story is a very interesting story. This story between one boy and his cat. In this topic, new word here, saved. Then let me cover this. Then second word, is miserables. Miserables means helpless, helpless, helpless. Then hard word is dismiss, dismiss, dismiss. This means a great disappointment. Great disappointment. Appointment. Disappointment. Disappointment. Hmm? Then next word. Ale. 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 Means a narrow passage. A narrow passage. A narrow passage between or behind building. Behind building. Between and behind building. Eudor means to cover with, miserables means helpless, and this means great disappointment. Align means to a narrow passage between building, between or behind, between or behind building. Now I will start this topic. Today, we are going to learn about the Dick Whittington and his cat. The story between the Dick Whittington and his cat, and some other characters in this story. So it's very interesting story. In this story, Dick Whittington, his cat, the servant, the Fitzgerald, hmm, and King, Queen. These are other characters in this story. There was once upon a poor boy called as Dick Whittington. That means there was once upon. That means uh, there there was a once upon a boy. That means there was once upon a poor boy. Poor boy name was the Whittingtons, who lived in the small village in the South England. That means the boy. That means this Dick Whittingtons live in the who live in the small village of England. That means the Dick Whittington, Dick Whittington lived in the small village in the South England. He had no proper home. That means the boy. That means the Dick Whittington, the Whittingtons had no proper homes. That means he was alone. For both his parents had died. That means his mother and his father was dead. Hmm? That means his parents had died. One day, Dick overheard someone say that the streets of London were paved with the golden. That means he was no mother and no father. His parents had died, and he had no proper home. Both his parents had once day Dick overhead. That means one day Dick was overhead. Some say that that means someone say that of London were paved with a golden. That means London street covered with a golden, and he decided that he would go there at once and pick a fortune of his gold pieces from the street. That means at that time he decided to go there and search a success, have get a money. For thought people might treat him more kindly if he were rich. That means he decided to go there and earn a gold and make a rich. So younger Dick set out the walk of London. That means the younger Dick set out the walk of London. He had not gone for him. A man in a cart stopped. That means at that time the Dick stopped the road of the London. At that time there were one person is coming and the one cart was coming and stopped there and asked him. He was running away from him. The man asked a question to Dick Whittington. You are that means um, you were running. Sorry, he was running away from the home. You was running away from the home. I have no home. That at that time they give the answer. I have not home. Dick answered, I am on my way to London to find my fortune. That is at that time the Dick Whittington give the answer. I I have no house and I am on my way to London. I am way to London in search of my fortune, or my success, my wealth. I am going to London myself. At that time, the carters uh, give the answer. I am going to the London myself. That means at that time I am going to the London. Said he, carters, jump up there beside and we will journey together. That means at that time he, carters, said that I am going to way of London and you uh, carters said you jump up here beside me and we will journey together. That means the Dick Whittington and the Carter will journey together. They arrive in the London just before nightfall. That means at the period of night falls, arrive in the London just before of night falls. Night falls and the Carter left the Dick and made his way to on inn. That means the Carter stopped his cart and left Dick and made his way to him. In poor Dick stood alone. That at that time the poor Dick is alone. Poor Dick is alone and looked around him in dismay. Dismay means great appointment. At that time the Dick searched his fortune on the street of London. Where was all that fine gold? That means where was his mind is one question coming. One question, where was all the fine gold? Where was all that fine gold? All he could see where dirt is. At that time he reached this place. He reached the place of London. Hmm? Where was all the fine gold? There were no any type of gold, and all he could see were dirty street. At that time, New Zealand the street is very dirty street, and lot of unfriendly people. There were no known people friend of Dick Whittington. That's the unfriendly people. He had nowhere to sleep and he had nowhere to sleep and he ended up to spend his night in the corner of alive. That means D. Whittington spent his spent his night night in the narrow passage between a building. That means narrow passage between the building or behind the building. At that time, the Dick Whittington spent spending the night corner of narrow passage between the building where he hoped would come to no harm. That means Dick Whittington came in the came came in the London. At that time he realized that there were no any type of gold, and the London street was very dirty, and their people are their their peoples very unfriendly people. Hmm? And the next morning Dick woke up cold, miserable, and very hungry. And the next day, at that time, the Dick woke up and cold, miserable means helpless. At that time, the Dick was very helpless and very hungry. He wandered around begging for the food. That means he uh, wandered around the begging for the food. That means at that time he wandered around the beginning to food, but again and again people shouted him. That meant at that time he begging for the he wanted begging for the food. At that time the some people shouted him, "Go away, you lazy fellow!" That means you are lazy and go away, lazy fellow. Be off with you, be off with. And aimed a hungry bowl at his head. That means at that time the mother he wandered around the building for the food. At that time, some people shouted him and said, uh, "Go, go away, you lazy fellow! Be off with you!" and aimed angry balls at his head. At last, they collapsed in the street. At that time, Dick was very hungry or miserable, and Dick was Dick woke up a cold, miserable, and very hungry. And at last, he not get any type of food. He lost his collapse in the street. He collapsed in the street and lay there too weak to look further for food. That means too weak to look further for food. By chance, Dick had fallen in the front house of belonging to rich merchant called Mr. Fitzwarren. That means Dick collapsed. Dick Dick's had fallen in front of house of great belonging to rich merchant called as Mr. Fitzwarren's belonging to rich merchant. The cook was trying to drive Dick away. This cook was trying to drive Dick away when Mr. Fitzwarren returned home from the inspecting his ship. That means the Fitzwarren was the rich merchant. At that time, the cook was trying to drive Dick away. At that time, there were the rich man, Mr. Fitzwarren, returned at home from inspecting his sheep. He stopped and said to Dick. He stopped and at that time he said to Dick, "Why don't you work if you need food?" That means तुला जर अन्नाची गरज आहे तर तू काम का नाही करत? I would work, said Dick. So, he said that I would work, said Dick, but I know nobody who will give me anything to do. That means you give me any type of work, I'll do it. Taken him into the kitchen. Take him, take him into the kitchen. Mr. Fitzwarren ordered to cook. That means at that time, Mr. Fitzwarren gave the order to his cooks. Take him into the kitchen. Feed him first and then find some work for him. That means his parents really kind person. He ordered to his cook take him into the kitchen and firstly he gave the food, feed or give the food and then find some work for him. So Dick was given a home and at that time Mr. Fitzgerald gave the Dick to his home. home and living. At that time, the Mr. Christian also gave us the food, and his study was given a home and living. He had a small corner of attic. Attic means what? Attic. Attic means a very small room. A very small room. A very small room inside a haunted room. Inside a haunted room. Haunted roof. Inside a haunted room. That means at that time, Whittington's view. Dick was given a home and living at that time. Small corner, a very small room inside a pointed roof, and his job was help the cook with all the pot and pans in the kitchen. And his job was this type of job. That that means his job was the help the cook with all the pot and pans in the kitchen. Then Dick's life should have been much better than before. That means Dick's life is better than before, but he still has two difficulties to face. But at that time, he faced the two difficulties. Which type of difficulties? So we will learn next